Hi, welcome to the Linux channel. See, time to time I have covered various topics on job and career, and each time whenever I get a mail, sometimes I do get inspired to take such a topic to cover, or sometimes just like that I feel like taking. Okay, and this thing quite happened recently, and this is a very common FAQ. Even my students ask what I do next, what I learn next, and things like that. Sometimes I do get random email saying that I'm working somewhere, and it's been around 3 years after I completed my college, and working in my company or bunch of companies. I moved so far, and then I want to see what I can do next, what I can learn, especially. Okay, because the guys who work in the tech industry always, we need to learn new stuff, or further things which may be quite useful as you go along with your journey of your career, actually. So same way I got a mail, and I was recommending stuff which I mostly do, and then I thought this is something I can take as a video, and this may help if you are still studying in a college, or it may be helpful if you are in a career, and you feel you are stuck and which direction to go. Okay, so things are, I can give few examples. See, this kind of a question, like I say, is mostly asked by people who work around uh, 3 to 4 years of in the industry. Mostly they ask a question like that, or sometimes somebody who is around 10 years or 15 years in the industry, and got struck in a job, and finally they feel that they are in a sort of saturated this thing. They are at a point in the career where they are really confused, and they feel that if they continue further in that company, they just going to be irrelevant in the industry. If they leave, or if they get fired, then nobody will dare to hire them because of outdated skills whatever they have. So this is a very, very common thing which everybody have to undergo. It is not that people do ask me. Even I have undergone many times. I have to revise myself, and I have to re-evaluate myself that what I need to do next, and this happened time to time. And as a process, even I have started the Linux channel because I am good at something. I felt let me present to the people, because not everyone is good at teaching, and the irony is whoever teaches you is not a guy who does things in the real life. So this is the unfortunate thing. So whoever teaches you in the school or college, they are not doing anything in the reality. Okay, means they are not doing a real stuff. Okay, they just do full time teaching. At the same time, whoever you meet in the office may be a good guy or a genius in terms of working out stuff, but he is not a good teacher or a mentor. Okay, so there is a gap all the time. So this is going to be there, and like I mentioned in a recent video, I may not continue doing paid courses and stuff in the future, because I am joining a company as a full time position as a CTO or whatever, because I am yet to finish the formalities, hence I am not committing, but there is such a possibility. So that is one thing. But again, I told them that I will continue to take videos, but I don't want to do that part, because it will be like a dual income and stuff. I just felt, even they are okay with that. I just told that I want to focus on one at a time, and wholeheartedly I want to take the position and do my best. Okay, so that I can teach my old students once in a while, because they have signed up like a lifetime mentorship, but not getting any new students. So this is my position at age of around I am around 41 or so. Okay, like I said, this is something, a process which everybody have to undergo. So this I want to make sure that you understand that you are not different or you are not unique. It's the same thing even if the person reaches around 45 years or 50 years of age. It depends whether they are still thinking to pursue their career or they want to retire. And I mean, retire again, there are strings attached. It's not that you just retire and sit at home. It depends on what type of retirement you are expecting. You can be a CEO and still you can enjoy a retired life where somebody else takes care of the things, and or maybe you can be the stakeholder of that company what you founded, and then give a position somebody as a CEO, and then you can be a behind the scenes person like a board member and stuff. So there are many avenues. So when it comes to youngsters, so let's get back to the main topic. See, when it comes to youngsters, especially guys who are working in engineering, let's take example, because since my channel mostly covers stuff for the techies and stuff. So what happens is, let's take different domains. Okay, one, you have all stack developers, and you have this UI developers and stuff. They mostly have to deal with new upcoming technologies or some new framework, and they need to get accustomed, such as, let's take example, this Node.js. After that you have this Angular and HTML5 and stuff like that, and before that there was Ruby and stuff. So since I'm not I'm not from that domain, I'm just giving a few examples which anyone can understand if you are in that domain. Okay, so time to time something will be coming, and also various frameworks, and I came to know that there are also various frameworks, like you have Laravel and few other things, and when it comes to graphs you have this Kibana, Grafana, whatever it is. So they learn all this stuff, the basic LAMP stack and stuff like that, MySQL stuff and all. After that, these things, and so the journey continues forever. So you come to know that once you reach a certain point, there are upcoming stuff which is coming, and then you need to learn. Same way I get many students, since I deal systems programming, most of them are into some embedded and stuff like that. And apart from that, of course, there are some core system software programmers and stuff. See, when it comes to embedded domain, you have the guys who are working into the core embedded stuff. They are not much working on OS level or OS layer itself. So they are working on more low level stuff, something like bootloaders and working on some libraries or mid-level BSP and various stuff. So I got students who are working into their hardware is in FPGA, so they need to write libraries for their software as a part of company's package. And also students, even myself included, we are into the network software programming. So I work in kernel space, user space, network stack, network protocols and stuff. So things like that. So as you have various domains like that, when it comes to systems, you have the embedded side, and then you have the operating system, and the platform guys are there who work in mostly operating system and porting and board bring up, along with kernel bring up, actually I'm saying. So these things are there, and apart from that, you have again these application developers, like it can be web application or it can be any smartphone applications and stuff. So you have various avenues like this. Okay, so what happens is, the problem is, you just need to ask yourself that you are thinking to scale up or upskill yourself at the age or at the time when you have finished your 14 years of schooling, roughly whatever. So you have finished your 12 or 14 years of schooling, and then after that you have completed even 4 years of graduation, so which is going to be around 18 years. And even this is even more most frequently asked by guys who have done masters. Okay, so So I do have, I do get mails, and of course even my students who have done their masters, still they are confused what to learn in the future, or what they can experiment with or something like that. So this is also been asked by guys who have done masters. So the pity is you have you had been in full time education almost 2 decades. Just ask yourself, you are studying almost for 2 decades and still you are confused what to learn to get into a proper career or something. So this states the pity at which the state of education is. I am not saying the education after you finish the formal education, that's a complete different thing. I am saying the formal education. So the problem with the formal education is they teach all sorts of garbage at random order. Okay, so they pick someone in the school, they teach all subjects, and then they teach all sorts of random crap. Actually, the reason I am saying random crap is somebody who is interested in arts or history may not be much interested in learning some physics or something else. I mean, you can teach some basics. They are not open enough to learn some, some theorems in the maths or some nonsense like that. Okay, so which is useful for an engineer or somebody. Yes, there are skills, life skills, which are useful for everyone. Okay, I am not denying that, but beyond a point, what good is learning about a magnetron or some garbage of for a person who wants to do some archaeology or some art stuff. So he want to become an artist, he don't need to learn all this bullshit. At least to teach him color chemistry and few things, or making their own custom colors. You have this Renaissance period, you have you have paints which they do by themselves, mixing egg yolk and stuff like that. There is a chemistry involved. So teach something interesting if they are going to pursue such a career. Okay. So teaching them of this whole thing doesn't make any sense. So with this continues, the problem is this happened throughout the schooling, and then this continues even in the college. Again, somebody who joins computer science, since I have done bachelor's in computer science, they teach all sorts of bullshit actually. But the guys who come out of the college, somebody will be interested in application programming, somebody will be interested in only system software programming, and various avenues. So what good of learning Java for a guy who is going to work only in kernel space or some kind of core system software? So it doesn't make any difference. So this is the sort of troubled approach with the college. And the most important aspect of, see, the whole point of making this video is to see in an opposite direction. So I want to brainwash and then give a new perspective, so that you yourself will come up with a solution instead of me giving the solution for a million people with a million questions. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. So what it is supposed to do is, after watching this video, you should find the answers by yourself. So I want to make you to think that way as a mentor. Okay, so this is what sometimes I do as a mentor, even if I consult companies as well. So that this is the job of any guru. There is a difference between a lecturer or teacher versus some stuff like that versus a guru. See, if you see astrologically, I can say, if I derive the teaching profession, it's more associated to Mercury, because there is commerce and few things associated with that, versus a guru, as the name says, guru is the planet Jupiter, we call it as guru. So the aspect of guru is completely different. If you see Lord Krishna, will leave the religion part. If you see the Lord Krishna's role, his role is to play a role of a guru, as a mentor for Pandavas who are sticking with dharma. And even Pandavas, whenever they whenever they do some goof up, Krishna will try to correct them and assure that you just do your work and follow the dharma, and I am there to take care of rest of the things. So you don't take that karma on your head, I am there to look after. So this is the whole aspect. Again, I am not getting religious, I am saying as a historical reference, we take it as a sample story. Okay, so to better understand, this is the job of any guru. And even if you take Jesus, again he is also a guru actually. So think like that. So I mean, I am saying in the context of a mentor. Okay, so because he had his followers, Jesus had his followers and stuff like that. So let's take the God stuff apart from any individuals, let's see in that way. So this is the job of a guru. So in that way, if I say, what happens is in the education system, you are taught, or you learn all this discrete stuff. Suddenly one day you just open you just start learning physics of your 10th standard or something like that. Then they give all sorts of introduction to next set of things, and then each subject after subject, or each chapter after chapter, they cover various topics of that subject. So let's take chemistry. I think I had some iron smelting and something during my 10th standard, and same way 12th standard I have various other stuff. So the 12th standard, what I'm saying, some people or some places it is called as PUC and various names, but anyway I'm saying the school education is like that. So I was learning this various things. I mean, now I hardly remember something on distillation, something on copper refining, and all this bunch of random stuff. The thing is, the biggest flaw in education sector is they hope we teach all this random shit. Okay, we teach all this random garbage, so that you will learn all these things and you will come to know such things are there in the world. Okay, so I'm saying psychologically what their approach is. See, their approach is, let's take this this battery. Okay, they never teach from this direction, they just teach from this direction. So they teach from top to bottom. Okay, that's the fundamental issue which I want to correct. So they teach not what a battery is. Okay, they teach inside what manganese, what this thing. So this is a nickel metal hydrate battery. So they teach what nickel is, what properties are, what atomic number, what bullshit and all that crap. Okay, they first teach you all this nonsense. Okay, and teach you. By the time you go to the college, then they teach what a battery is, what the chemistry of this battery is. And so you see that the flow, what I meant. Okay, so you see the flow. See, let's take another example. Let's take this Duracell lying on my table. Okay, by the way, my table is highly cluttered over here, which I don't show to the camera, but anyway, see, let's take example of this Duracell. Say this is an alkaline battery, and this has a different chemical structure compared to this nickel metal hydrate. So I have some bunch of nickel metal hydrate. So these ones, and you can see small ones and stuff. So this is a different chemistry and technology versus this alkaline one. So what happens is, you learn till 10th standard or something about various properties, various aspects of this, but what they miss is the knowledge of a product, the utility part of the product. See, nobody is interested to learn of all this BS going inside. We just need to first see what a battery does to your life. Okay, I'm giving you an example. What you buy this for, what? Okay, to power toys, to do this, to do that and stuff like that. Okay, as a child, say I have a daughter, if she asks what is this is used for, okay, then I need to tell that, okay, tomorrow you buy a toy, you can use this to power the toy. Next she may ask what power is. Okay, so on. Next she may ask what electricity is. See, you see, the flow goes from bottom to top, not from top to bottom. So this is the flaw in education. See, I can give various references. See, let's take for example this ball I got for my daughter. See, if you shake, see, this is from a brand called Littles actually. Okay, you can see here. Okay, yeah. So if you shake, it has this jingles inside, and the thing I liked about this is it's a bit soft, like any plush toy. And if she jumps on this or hits with her head, whatever, it doesn't injure her. So this is much safer than you buy something a bit hard plastic because of her age. So the question is, the company which does this, or somebody who is inventing this, see, like this you will find many in Amazon. I am not saying this company has invented it. Let's somebody have invented, and so we have identical products from various brands. You may get this in Fisher Price and various other brands. Okay, so the point is, it's not about who invented or something. So the point is about somebody have created, I mean the point is about somebody have come with a creative idea, and to make a soft toy like a ball. As you see here, it is not strictly round, you can just squeeze and it just stays like a rugby ball in a odd shape, actually you can see here. So and inside they have put something there, and then inside that they have put jingles so that it can move freely. See that it can do this. So what happens is, as a product, okay, as you see here, now you see, let's imagine you are a toy engineer. Okay, you see, in this approach, to do something like this, you need to find out a material where it is suitable for this outer stuff. Then you need this stuffing inside. So you have that regular synthetic stuffing, you get it for all this teddy bears and pillows and stuff. Okay, and of course Reliance sells it in the name of Recron. So it is some plastic which I forgot its name. Anyway, so inside you have the jingles. The jingles are made with brass or steel, whatever it is, and how they are made, whatever it is. So it goes inside. So nobody have to learn from inside to outside. Okay, the most important thing in the commerce is I mean in the commerce I meant in the world of business, okay, is the final product. The product should do what, and then as an engineer you learn to do this, how I can go from outside to inside. Okay, so this is how it starts. Okay, let's imagine a CEO asking you to do something like this, and nobody have done that. Let's take an example. Nobody have done this ball so far. It's just an idea that CEO got, and he's not an engineer. Okay, he's telling to his team to come up with something like this. They are so far making teddy bears, and he's telling to do something like this. Now what happens is, the team works, and then they put all their ideas together and they do a prototype, and they see that how far it is safe for the child. She actually literally bites and licks this ball, by the way. So how far it is safe, and is it washable, and various other parameters, how far it is fireproof and waterproof and various things. And so you have the play factor, you have the product factor which company can sell for a profit, and as well you have the safety factor and various other things. So this is what is the job of an engineer. So you see there, you go from top to bottom, not coming from bottom to top. Let's take another example like this smartphone. So unfortunately, the thing with the smartphone is, it has over 1 million things happening inside, and it has various things put together. When it comes to making something like this, it is highly cutting edge. So unfortunately, we don't take this example because it has various systems aspect, it has the UI aspect, things like that. So the list goes on. You have this electrical stuff here, the charging ports and all that stuff. So let's not take again a complex example. So I just want to compare. So when we transition from there to here, now you see the complexity. You have million things happening here. You have various Bluetooth stuff, wireless stuff, and various things happening here. So let's keep it aside. Instead, let's move across and pick something which is much simpler. Okay, see, I got this Casio calculator, and this is a basic desk type calculator. See, the utility part is, it is not a portable, I mean this is not meant to be kept in a briefcase or something, because something can touch and turn it on, but of course you can carry if there is nothing available. Generally some calculator will have a flap which will prevent, but this can get turned on or whatever, but it is meant mostly for a desk type use. And since it is a desk type purpose, so they have raised this LCD. Again you see there, it is more to do with the design and utility and functionality, and finally it comes to the technologies which they have put inside. And so you have this at this angle so that you can easily read. See, I can keep it this way so that you can see its profile. Okay, so they have done in a this way, and then the buttons, and then the solar panel, since any light coming from other direction can charge or power this calculator, and it has this dual power, whatever it is. So now you see the technical standpoint. You have a LCD screen, one have to learn how this LCD works, one have to learn how this small type solar panels work, because this is little different than the big ones you put it under a sun and all that. So and then you have this capacitive touch buttons, whatever it is, or resistive touch buttons, which they have this carbon pads and stuff. So and then you see from this direction you start learning all the bits and pieces. So let's take an example. Let's take, this is a Casio calculator. If not Casio, let's imagine it is done by somebody else. Sometimes they don't have to manufacture this LCD. Again, coming back to the commerce factor, what happens is they may outsource to some company which does LCDs. You don't need to break your head how LCDs work if you manufacture this. So all you need to do is give this contract to somebody else. Just tell them what requirements you have, where digits should appear in what size, what font, and size of the LCD with various other markers. You have this mem plus, mem minus, whatever it is. So you can tell all these specifications, and somebody else may just do that. Whole factory may just do LCDs for calculator, multimeters, or whatever it is. So better to give that job. You don't need to much learn about an LCD chemistry either, because you have outsourced it. So this is how it works in the industrial aspect. So coming back to the point that if you are working in embedded stuff, as we go further, the more and more we are seeing connected devices. So you have to use your just common sense. We have lot of connected devices. So see the products in the market, or think that what you can come up with a solution in your home. Okay, if you don't use it at your home, then how can you think of some creative stuff? So you just see that where you have a problem, how you can solve it. You have some lights or something you need to automate. Of course you have ready to use solutions in Amazon, but let's imagine you do yourself something, and then you automate, and then you put your data into a cloud, and then you automate and slowly make into a viable product, and then see that whether you can sell and stuff. Okay, so this way of thinking is automatically going to teach you what you need to learn next. Okay, you don't need to see that, okay, what is hot in the industry, let me go to a course and learn something. It is a BS actually. The point is today something will be hot. There was a time when I was doing my college, Java is quite hot, and people literally used to go for Java classes. Now it's not. I mean, now it's AI and machine learning ML, and you have this data analysis and data scientist, all this BS actually. So this thing, why I say these kind of examples is, see now this may look lucrative, down the lane in another 5 years something else will pop up and this will look outdated. So again, this is the reason I am kind of how to say, I'm kind of downplaying that aspect. So when I say certain words like BS or crap or something, it meant that I'm kind of want to sort of degrade and not to highly emphasize. See, it may look very, very cutting edge when it comes, let's take crypto, let's take blockchain, or let's take any such stuff right now which is cutting edge, but it is not cutting edge after some few years. So what is the reason to hype all that, and it is not going to stay forever. Okay, it may be saturated market after few years. Now one point of time you had $500 calculator, but now you get it for $5 or something, even $1 or so. Okay, so this is what is the market is. So what's the point of hyping something which is itself is not permanent? Okay, so that's my point, and this is the role a guru should play. You should never hype something, you should never downplay fully something. You have to have a balance. You should never ever hype something saying that this is the best is going to happen. No, it's not actually. You are not going to live forever, you are going to die one day. So it's just what you learn, what you do, it doesn't matter, because you yourself is not permanent. Okay, who cares what you learn actually? It's just it's what it is. So that's why the job of guru is to not somebody who is overcharged, bring him down, and somebody who is also kind of demotivated, not or how to say uh, who is not confident, you know, having overconfidence, who is less confident, okay, there's a word I'm not getting it, so who is having this state, just bring him up, rising up, boost his confidence and show the reality, okay, this is the job of a guru. Hence I'm saying, as you say, each and every everyday objects, okay, you yourself will get clues what currently the things are and where it is heading, what I'm supposed to learn, you know, to address something like that. So you take anything, you take a smartphone, you take anything as a, you know, as an example, you take anything, just go through Amazon, find various products and see that you know, there is something, this product, how it works, ask yourself. And do you know those things as an embedded developer? Okay, let's take, I gave an example to, you know, a mail which I got, like, you know, this Amazon and vacuum. See, if you type vacuum cleaner, you get this Dyson vacuum which is sponsored, you get that. There is recently a video from Dyson CEO, and he demonstrates with that laser it can detect any, I mean it can highlight any debris on the floor and dust particles and stuff, so you can focus cleaning them. And as well, he tells that it has this monitoring stuff which it shows, you know, different bars analyzing the particle, you know, parts per million and all that graphs it shows on the vacuum cleaner, and also you can monitor in the phone, something like that. So to do something like that, let's imagine, just take that simple thing as an example. To do something like that, imagine the technology it goes. So if you are into some low level embedded person, you think to do something like that, it's a common sense, you need to learn some IoT stuff. In IoT you can explore, as you explore you will come to know, okay, there are few things which you are yet to learn and there are few things you know already. So in IoT you think you want to focus more on communications aspect, okay, so you can focus that. But in general the whole IoT stuff is all about collecting data and pushing it to the cloud. So in case you want to focus, you can focus that aspect as well. So like this, you know, you do from the top to bottom approach, rather than bottom to top approach. So the bottom to top approach, you do masters, you do anything in this world will not help you, and unfortunately that's the issue with the education, formal education system. I mean, education, even what I teach is education, but I want to distinguish, there is this formal education and there is this unconventional, you know, platforms. It's just not me, it can be any other platform. So something like that. So what happens is, you just, you know, see this way, they are trying to go from this direction, teach all random crap, and then they are telling in the college how different things work. Okay, you may have entire, I still remember in my second year electronics or something, you have an entire chapter on CRTs and this LCDs and you know, stuff like that. So CRT you may get it in 12th standard also, again one more revisit in the college you may have, and I am not sure about these days syllabus, so maybe they may not ever cover in the college, something like that. Or maybe you are doing a triple E or something, then they may cover more in depth about some of that. Who cares how the CRT works in a reality? Actually nobody uses them anymore. So you learn all that garbage, and I mean, you learn for curiosity, I'm not telling no to that, but the problem is, it's not a job getting skills you have anymore by learning that crap, and you pay for that. Okay, you can as well watch a YouTube video how a CRT monitor works and learn how it works. You don't need to pay money and then sit in the class and then write in that exam again how a CRT works, explaining all the nitty-gritty internals, which is not going to give you any job. So this is why, as a guru, I want to say, the most important thing is, just you have been brainwashed and you are wasting all your time by doing a degree after degree, learning all sorts of useless crap most of the times. Again, I am saying, what you learn which is helping in your life skills of, let it be securing a job or doing something yourself at home, is just not more than 0.5% of this 20 years or 2 decades of education, but rest it is fluff which is nobody needs. Okay, so this is what happens. Hence I am saying, just, you know, see things over here, go Amazon. If you are in IoT space, search anything like say home automation, okay, and you get all sorts of products which are crappy ones and good ones, rated 5 star, Amazon choice, and also bad reviews. Why there is a bad review? Because it is meant to do something, it is not doing that. Let's take, suppose I take this Bluetooth headphone, okay, let's take this is recently I got uh, the thing is I need to swap from multiple systems, so I need to disconnect the wires and connect, and also I felt let's just take some headphone which is I can jump from laptop to that, and even smartphone stuff. So you see the technology involves, it has this micro USB here, and if you are from electronics, of course you need to learn how this micro USB, I mean how the USB thing works, and if you are into systems, of course you need to learn the drivers and stuff like that, and also this Bluetooth controller chip and all that. You can even take it apart, you can buy a brand new one, take it apart, see how it works, how they have put together things, and to do some hacking, tweaking by yourself. You learn doing things like that, not by learning some theories after theories of stupid silly stuff in the books, okay. Hence I am saying this is the way you should learn stuff. So see, in this approach, let's imagine you want to turn this or do some automation on this, okay. Let's imagine you want to introduce some commands which is not supported here. Let's think like that. Let's imagine you want to add some specific commands. When you say, then something it should trigger in your smartphone or a laptop or something like that. How do you do that? Okay, so then you can come up with ideas like that and see how you can solve and put things together, okay. So this is what your learning approach should be, okay. This is how it should be. Of course you should know various other things, how this touch button works, how this LED stuff works. I mean there are a lot of other, what a speaker does, and I'm not denying that, but I'm saying the problem with the bottom up approach is you will be learning all random crap, and you will be already distracted by your teenage factor when you are at 16s, 18s, and whatever it is. So you will be anyway distracted at that age, and by the time you come out of the college, you just still don't have any idea or clue that what industry knows versus what you exactly capable of. The problem is industry are working on stuff like that, but you are not capable of thinking how you can put together a stuff like that. So this is the gap. So in the college, what they are teaching you is all theoretical nonsense BS, which is not going to helpful in your life skills. Hence I want to say, emphasize, or that you build this way of approach, and then you can question yourself, and then you can self explore and learn anything. I mean not only a specific domain. So hence I am saying, let us think home automation. You can see bunch of stuff here, okay. There are millions of products, each does something different and each has its purpose, okay. Nowadays even there are some UPS, smart UPS or smart energy meters, where you can track if the UPS supports solar as well as conventional power. You can have a chart, you can have the stuff plotted in the cloud, and it can show that how much it energy consumed via grid or your power supply, home power supply, versus how much it is compensating with the solar and stuff, and how is your usage pattern. And same thing goes for smart meters and stuff. Even I have worked on some kind of UI for a smart meter automation long back, although I'm not an application guy. So sometimes I do get consulting work, sometimes I do work like that, okay. I don't sit myself saying that I only work on systems or networking stuff. Sometimes I do kind of exciting stuff through my contacts, and then I do work. So think like this. So if you want to do something, what technology it goes inside, just explore, and you will see that okay, this uses Zigbee or some sort of communication, okay. You can think of buying some Zigbee module or something, and then see how you can interface with a reference board like Raspberry Pi, and then do some work on that, and then you can continue by doing that. Same way vehicle automation or something like that. So this is how approach should be. Unfortunately what happens is you come up with masters, you come up with bachelors, and then you learn every kind of nonsense subject after a subject, and you are confused. Okay, I take up this course and then I get these skills. I want to do some work on device drivers, so why not I take a course on device drivers? The most annoying part is somebody asking that what if I get a job like a device driver when I learn some driver programming and something like that. The most annoying thing about is they are not aware that they are working on a kernel, actually in a Linux kernel. So they first supposed to learn is kernel programming and then later they are supposed to know or learn is driver programming. Instead they just do all opposite, actually. So this is the approach. Unfortunately, the way the thought process is happening this way, because the way you are coming up and that upbringing happened in your 2 decades of education system, actually. Hence I am saying completely change the perspective. They teach you in this direction, and as a guru I mentor you that you learn in this direction. You just first see the end products. It can be anything, it can be anything, it can be anything. Okay, see the end product. So these are my glasses, reading glasses. This is a stopwatch which I use whenever I consult my clients or something like that, or even sometimes I teach a session, then I just trigger the stopwatch. So see this again, there is an LCD, there is a timer, this has a microcontroller. How this works, learn to your heart content. Okay, you yourself know that there is something to learn in this way, and you will eventually learn, and then you may have some life skills, and no amount of course can compensate that. You will be doing this course after another course after another course, still you will be questioning that what kind of a job I will get. The problem is you are going in this direction. So unfortunately, change the perspective, come in this direction and see the product first, what it involves, what technologies they put inside it, and if you are a beginner, learn various aspects and cover those things in depth, and then finally you have certain skills within you as a part of your resume, which you can display. Okay, if not just there is something which is popular now in the industry, what if I learn this, I'll become that. It's all BS, actually. I just don't recommend that ever. Even if somebody sends a mail, secretive mails or public mails, I don't ever recommend that approach. So do this way and see yourself. You don't need to guide anyone. I mean, nobody have to guide you that this you learn. Okay, now you are in system, so maybe this you learn. Not much is needed. Of course there is a little bit of guidance is needed, but you can change the whole approach, and then you can ask questions. Then it is a good approach. I mean, it's a good scenario that somebody, as they guide, you can immediately learn or understand why they are telling that way. Okay, so this way you can practice. So change your whole perspective, and you first answer or you first try to address it by yourself. Okay, asking what you should do next. If you are employed, what you should do next, how the industry is going forward, what it has currently, what it doesn't have currently. And you should also seek that everybody, I mean, you should also have to know this point that everybody is unique, everybody have their own talents, and some are good in creative stuff, some are good at managerial stuff, some are good at some kind of desk keeping kind of regular work. So they are not into creating new stuff. So you try to attempt. You are not meant to do that, and you don't have such skills. That is a God given skills. Unfortunately, nobody can teach you such things. Okay, hence I am saying you have to learn this thing which is not unfortunately taught in your school or colleges. They always tell that you do this, you do that, you can become this, you can become that, you also can become rich, you also become that. All this kind of BS will not work in the real life. The thing is, everybody have unique skills. Some are good at a specific talent. They have God gifted skills. Okay, I mean God gifted talent, which as they do, they will uncover by themselves. Okay, and somebody is born doctor. I mean, you go with him, almost your health will heal by itself. He will just touch and check you, but you feel that your disease is cured already by his touch. okay, so that's what they have, such kind of God, God's blessings actually. Okay, so he's a born doctor. I mean, as he does his MBBS and then he does any specialization, it will add more to his credibility. Now he has become a famous heart surgeon or a brain surgeon. He can really complement his God gifted blessings with whatever the formal education he received and the experience also. Most surgeons are not just education alone, as you know. They have to have immense amount of experience by working with senior doctors, and then slowly they are capable of conducting these surgeries all by themselves, assisting getting assistance from another younger team actually. So this is what happens in medical profession also. So hence I am saying you are different. There are areas where you need a lot of creativity. Don't try to interfere, don't try to question yourself, why not I am coming up with ideas and this thing. You are not capable of, as simple as that. You are capable of something, just try to figure out what you are exactly capable of. Okay, so if you ask me, I am a kind of born engineer and I am capable of creating stuff, because my whatever astrological stuff is, I know now the answer because I read astrology, now I know. But from childhood I am like that. I like creating stuff. I destroy something sometimes, but again I put back, and mostly if something has a repair, I try making it good and making it work. I always do that. I always solder, I always put things together. Even recently I have done some repairs actually. Even at this age I do at home. Something is not working, I check why it is not working, I do repairs at home. I like that process. It's not about saving money, I like that process. So I like creating new stuff. Something broken, I improvise, I create new stuff. I like that actually, because God has gifted me something like that. So it is not maybe for you. Okay, same way if you ask me do something else, maybe I am not capable of, because I don't like, and moreover I feel I am not born for that. Hence try to identify what is your purpose of life, spiritually, not religiously. So once you get these two things, religion is a distraction, spiritually you can question what is your purpose in life and see what you are capable of, what your strengths are, weaknesses, and more than weakness, what your limitations are. And then see in this approach. Don't go this way, you have already done for 2 decades, and that's why you are watching this video. Don't go this way, come this way. Okay, this is my guru mantra for this video. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have anything to discuss, be in touch via mail, and post your small queries I can address in YouTube comments. Thanks a lot for joining me. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.